Welcome back to my channel, everyone. I hope you're doing so well today. If you're new here, I really hope you enjoy your first video, and welcome to my channel. So today I thought I'd do a little bit of pillow talk, not literally in bed, but you know, pillow talk with pillows around me. And I thought I'd do the first episode in my series to do with my job. So my job is something that I'm asked about quite frequently. Do you work full-time? Do you do YouTube? Do you do Instagram full-time? What do you do? What is a paraplanner? I have all these questions flying around, and I feel that this is a topic that I could do so many different videos on, such as how did I get my apprenticeship? What was it like doing an apprenticeship? All about a finance apprenticeship, you know, what it was like working for different companies, what sort of company I recommend, what sort of company I don't recommend, what exactly is a paraplanner, which is my job role. And there's so many different things that I could talk about, so I thought I'd kick it off by doing a high level overview of basically my career progression from leaving school till now, and also just talking a little bit about what exactly I do and what is a paraplanner, because when people hear it, they're like, what is a paraplanner? I'm like, oh, have to explain myself every time. Not one person, unless they're in the industry, understands what a paraplanner is. So let's give you a high level. So basically I work in financial services, so a financial advisor company is what I work for. So let's take it back a bit to when I left school. This section's just going to be quick because I don't want to bore you too much, as I'll do separate videos all about that. But when I left school, little 16-year-old Hazel left school. She thought, what am I going to do? Am I going to go to college? Am I going to go to uni? Am I going to get a job? I just didn't know what to do. I was very unsure, and I wanted to continue my education, but I knew I wanted to make the dollar. So I was looking online just for standard jobs. I wasn't really aware of apprenticeships at this time until I kept looking and then came across them on the website. So I think there's an apprenticeship website. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but if you Google apprenticeships, it'll come up. And I was having a look on there and I thought, oh, the salaries, they're a bit rubbish, which did put me off, if I'm honest. But when I was applying for normal jobs, obviously as a 16-year-old with no experience, I was struggling to get a job. Not that I went for many interviews, but you know, the ones I did go for, I thought, don't know if this is going to work, or I didn't hear back from them. So I thought, right, I'm going to go and apply for an apprenticeship. So I was looking on there, I thought, what do I want to do? I had no clue. All I knew is that I wanted something officey based, because I'm not really a massive hands-on person. Like, I am creative, but I didn't want to do anything hands-on as such. So I thought, right, an office job would suit me quite well. You know, I like being on the computer, I like writing. I knew that I wanted to do something along the lines of admin to start off with. So there I was looking and came across a finance admin apprenticeship and applied for it, went for the interview, got the job. Long story short, did my apprenticeship in 8 months. It was meant to be an 18-month apprenticeship, did it quite quickly, got my level 3 in financial services administration, continued some exams, moved on to another company, did more exams, got my financial advice qualification, moved on to another company again, and there I am now as a paraplanner. So basically that is my quick story as to kind of how I got where I am now. I spent around 2.5 years at both firms that I worked at, and then I've been at my current firm for about 1.5 years. So the reasons why I moved on were basically progression reasons, nothing against the companies at all, just needed to move on to progress further in my career, because I did find that being quite young, once you were promoted, it was hard to gain the respect in that position at times, or maybe that position wasn't available and promotions could be a bit slow. So that's why I moved on, because moving on was the quickest way to get to where I wanted to be. So now I'm going to talk about what actually a paraplanner is, and also what you need to be a paraplanner basically. So first off, I'll tell you what you need to do to be a paraplanner. So to be a paraplanner, you need some experience in the financial services world, because it's quite a involved job. It's quite technical, therefore you need the knowledge to be able to do the role. So one, you need experience, and secondly, most of the time you're going to need to be qualified as a financial advisor. Now, it sounds scary because most of the time, you know, you may hear that you have to go to uni to do something like that, but you can actually do the exams at work. Most employers sponsor the exams. So if you're, say, an administrator in the financial world, a lot of the time your employer will support you to do your financial advice exams, and then you can get qualified. So I did mine all on the job. I would get to work early and I would study, and then I'd study in the evenings and weekends. And I believe it took me around 1 year to get my level 4 qualification to be a financial advisor. So yeah, that's what I had to do to get there. So it's not something that you can just, you know, leave school and say, I want to be a paraplanner. You have to have experience in the industry. So I'd say first off, start as a finance admin. At least then you can get a feel for the industry. If you like the industry, you can carry on. And if you don't, you can transfer your skills into another industry. So I feel like it's a perfect starting point to go into the finance world as an admin, because you learn the basics, you learn the operation of the business, how it runs, and it's a really good way to get an insight into the firm and basically see if you want to do it or not, because it's quite a committed job. Like once you're doing it, it's quite niche, if you like. So yeah, you have to want to do it, you know what I mean? So what a paraplanner is, well, as I said, you're qualified as a financial advisor, so you have the knowledge that a financial advisor would have to advise clients. And I'm going to go into what exactly we advise in a second, but provide a high level just summary, I guess, of what paraplanners do. They will work in conjunction with the advisor. So I work for one advisor, but you may be working for several advisors. It depends on the company. I work for the managing director, so he has me as his paraplanner, and he will go and see the clients face to face and advise them, and I'll do all of the pre and post meeting work basically. So I will deal with all the research for him and all the reports for him as well, and the analysis. So I'll put together really big reports explaining why we're recommending what we're recommending. I'll include all the research in the reports, and then I'll give a breakdown as to why that's best for the client. Lots of proving yourself. It's a lot of, you know, comparisons. This versus this is better, and justifying it. And I really like that, because English was a thing I really enjoyed at school. You know, I love writing, and I love justifying things and explaining things and applying my knowledge, and I just feel like it kind of combines that in a way in the job, if you know what I mean, because there's a lot of writing in the job, and also it does apply a lot of maths. So I have to say, you do have to have some level of mathematical brains in there somewhere to be able to do it, because there is a lot of calculations. I'm not saying I'm the best person in the world at maths at all. You know, you don't have to be A star. I think I got a B in maths at school and a B in English as well, so I got fairly okay grades, I guess, but not the top either. So don't worry if you're not an A star student, it's fine, honestly. You can still go ahead and do it. So every firm will have a different version of what a paraplanner is. It's not a set job description. It will change depending on what firm you go to. Some will be more flexible, some will be more complicated, some will be easier. It really depends. And working at 3 different companies has really taught me that, because my last role at my first company was called Senior Administrator and Paraplanner, and then my second job I was called a Administrator Paraplanner, which was kind of the same thing as my first job, but was totally different. Then I moved on to be a technical paraplanner, but then a technical paraplanner at my last firm is totally different to what I do now, just a paraplanner at my current firm. So it's kind of every company will have their own name for the job, and the description and the duties will differ, but there will be some similarities too. So you'll always be expected to do research and reports, but the other things in between may change. Some firms make you do a lot of admin with the role, and some firms want you to be very technical, high level, and only dealing with really complex cases. So it's totally dependent on where you go. You also might start off as a more basic paraplanner and then move on and be an advanced paraplanner, or senior or technical as time goes by. It just depends upon the company and your experience. So don't go to one firm and think, oh, is this all it's ever going to be? Like, no, it will change. And also, the more experience you get, you can start asking for more duties. So recently I've been going to client meetings as well and helping out a little bit here and there and then, which is really fun and helps you to learn. And then also I've been using my knowledge to apply to projects in the business as well. So you don't just have to stick within the remit of a paraplanner, you can do other things. But let's talk about what actually is a financial advisor now, because clearly I'm assisting the advisor, and you need to understand what the hell does an advisor do, because, you know, I didn't know what a financial advisor was when I left school. So a financial advisor advises people on money, and it's typically high net worth clients. Some firms will offer advice to lower end clients, and when I say lower end, I mean maybe, you know, people that are younger, maybe in their 30s, working, building up a pension fund, wanting to save, that sort of thing. But typically I have always dealt with high net worth clients, and that would be often more elderly clients who have maybe inherited money or have their life savings, and it's all about managing their money and basically making it grow, last, be efficient, tax efficiencies, taking money tax efficiently out of their investments if they need an income, how to take the income, where to take the income from, and so many more factors. So basically there is so much I could tell you about what a financial advisor does, so I'm going to try and keep it somewhat brief. I don't want to confuse you too much, because it can be a bit overwhelming when you first hear it. So there's different areas. You have investments, pensions, tax planning, estate planning, and can't think of what else actually. But to give you a rough idea, so savings could include things like ISAs, so, you know, tax-free savings like ISAs. It could be a junior ISA for your child, it could be a taxable investment, it could be an onshore investment, an offshore investment, it could be a bond, it could be national savings, bank accounts, all sorts. And so we deal with them, new and existing products. We also deal with pensions, new pensions, existing pensions, final salary pensions. You may have heard of them before, the gold-plated pensions that people years ago used to get, that clearly you don't get any more if you're young like me and, you know, started your pension. You're not going to get a final salary anymore. You know, it might be talking to a client about how to set up a pension, how much should they pay into their pension, what can they pay into their pension, should they be moving their pension to a new scheme, should they be taking benefits from it, how much can they take each year, what is the tax implications of doing so. In terms of estate planning, it could be clients that have a really big estate, they're worth a lot of money, and when they pass away, their kids or their loved ones are going to have a lot of tax to pay. So we'll discuss with them ways that we can help mitigate the tax. So, you know, we might look to take out insurance policies to cover that. We might look to gift money. There's all different options available. It will totally depend upon the client and their situation and circumstances. So every single client will have a full meeting with the advisor to complete a fact find and to gather all the information about that person, because every situation is different. There's no one size fits all strategy here. It's very, very dependent upon the client. So that meeting will take place, the facts will come back in, the advisor will have a discussion with his paraplanner or her paraplanner and talk about what they're thinking about doing for that client. Then the paraplanner will go away and instruct maybe the admin staff to request information if they have an existing policy. So if we're dealing with existing investments, we'll have to go and write to the old company to gather information. Or if not, if it's new money, then it will typically go straight to me and I'll start my research. So once all the information's in, I will then use various different research tools to look into the either existing products or where we're going to be placing the new funds. And I basically research charges is a massive thing. So comparing how much does that cost versus this, what is better, or, you know, what is more beneficial for the client. I also look into where should we invest that money. Should we invest it into the UK, Japan, America, China, all sorts of different places? Should we invest it into stocks and shares, bonds, fixed interest, cash, you know, all the above? And it will be very much about, is that suitable for the client? Can they afford to take that level of risk? Can they afford to take that income? Can they afford to save that much each month? There are so many factors you have to consider, and as a paraplanner you really have to think about all of them in great detail, and is that suitable for that client? And then once you have your answer, it's all about making a huge report called a suitability report, and it will basically detail all of your findings and explain, are we going to recommend this? Are we not going to recommend this? Why are we recommending it? Why it's suitable for the client, etc. And then once that client is made a client, once they sign up and they, you know, the business has gone through, we then look after them every single year and do annual reviews for them. And that's basically reviewing their existing investments. Is it suitable still? Should we make any changes? Should they be invested into the same as what they're currently in, or should we take them out and put them into something new? It's all about making sure it's right for that person. I'm sorry if I'm talking a million miles an hour. I've got so much information that I want to get out and explain to you lot. There is so much to it, and I really hope I'm explaining this in simple terms, because I do understand that it's quite a difficult subject, and it is one that I struggle to get my head around at first. Also, I hope I'm not being too basic. I hope that I'm not being, you know, talking to you like you're idiots, because I know you're intelligent people. Hopefully this is making sense too. So yeah, I don't want to be patronising, but equally I don't want to assume that you know what I'm talking about, because it's a niche world, you know. So I hope that has helped a little bit explain what I do. Don't you worry, I'll do many more videos of this nature, because I love talking about my job. I do actually quite like talking about it. Just because it's quite interesting. It sounds boring, oh, financial advice, but actually it's quite interesting, and there's so many different areas you can go down in financial services. You don't have to stay a paraplanner. You could become an advisor, you can become an office manager, you can go into investments, you can be an investment banker, a stockbroker. There's all different things you can do in the industry. There's so much. So the possibilities are really endless, and I'd love to help educate people as to kind of what I do and how I got there, and if it's right for you or not, because it was definitely something that I struggled with at the time when I left school, not knowing what to do. There was not many people to speak to. No one I knew did this job, so I had to completely make the decisions by myself to think, is this right or not? I had to take guidance from employers, and you know, you're just putting your trust in other people's hands. So I'd really like to help you lot as well if I can do, and I hope this video was somewhat informative and helpful, and I'll do another video really soon. If you have any questions, please leave them below. As I said, I'm thinking of doing quite a few in the series, such as what is an apprenticeship. Probably going to do that next, and what also was my apprenticeship like, and did I recommend it? Was it worth it? All of them things. But please do leave questions, because I would love to help you. So thanks so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.